Hey guys, it's Leanne. Please excuse the way I guess I don't look anything. I don't know. Excuse any mess you notice in the background. Excuse my voice. Excuse any sniffling or coughing. I started to write this down as a blog post, and with the excuse that I'm coming down with something again. And actually earlier my son was like running around. He was having a really hard time going to sleep because we actually just got back earlier today from Miami. Um, but I don't know what it is. I used to love writing because I would like edit things and change things. And lately I just want to share what's on my mind, and sometimes it's easier to talk. And here's the thing I want to share with you is I'm just gonna take a look at what I wrote to kind of like remind myself. Um, and it's here's the name of the blog post that I'm writing. It's why I do what I do. And this has been incredibly transforming for me and incredibly life changing. And this is something that occurred because of the event in Miami, the Empower Network event. And I just want to share this with you because not only is it a process, but it's also something that we're hopefully going to be working on together. And I think it's important. It's important for you to understand where I'm coming from. And so here it is. Why I do what I do. And first of all, let me share my vision with you. Okay. And my vision is a world where people are more powerful versions of themselves, where people love and accept themselves, where they've let go of all these limiting beliefs that make them think in rigid ways, and where they've unlocked any possibility that's out there for them. Any possibility that's out there for them because they're not limiting themselves. And I'll explain what I mean by that. And I'm going to tell you why 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 I do what I do. But let me tell you how I got to it first so that it makes sense to you. Because I grew up around a lot of fear. Okay, I'm an immigrant. I moved to the U.S. when I was just about to turn 8 years old. I turned 8 in the States. And my family came from Israel. And what I didn't know at the time, I was attending elementary school and everything like that. What I didn't know at the time is that we were illegal. My parents had obtained a tourist visa, and after 3 months that expired. And for 9 months, until my father and my mother took care of things, we were not legal residents of the United States, and we were, in New York, and probably like a lot of other people, we weren't supposed to be there. So there was a lot of fear and stress involved in that, and there's also fear that's just been handed down for a few generations in my family because of the Holocaust, because we're Jewish, and there was a lot of family lost. And so growing up, there were a lot of ideas that were instilled in me by my parents, and some of them because they said so, and some of them because I made conclusions because of what they were doing, the way they were acting, or what they were saying. Okay? And listen, we're intelligent beings, and when we're kids, we make a lot of conclusions about life, and especially as we're creating our ego, we create conclusions about ourselves. Now here's what happens. I'll skip ahead for a second. When you create these beliefs about yourself, you're creating it with a child's mind, but you carry those beliefs with you into adulthood, and most people never even know, never even realize that this is going on. They don't even realize that they're limiting themselves with their beliefs that they created as a kid. Okay, and I'll just explain what's an example of a belief. I'm not good enough. How does something like that happen? It happens because because parents want you to clean your room, and as a kid, you don't have the capacity to understand what clean means. And they don't understand because most parents don't have parenting training that you don't understand. And so they get angry with you because you don't clean your room, or you don't pick up the toy cars, and somebody trips in the hallway and falls and hits their head. And that happens enough times. Hopefully not to the same person. Um, no, but it happens enough times that you get a certain reaction that as a kid you form a conclusion. And until the age of, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, around about there, you're creating conclusions about yourself. This is happening. I must not be good enough. I must not be smart enough. Okay? And there's worse situations and better situations, right? Even amazing parents do this, though, right? Even amazing parents lose their patience sometimes. They do. And then we say, well, I guess I'm just not as important as the phone call. right? Because we say, wait, and I know because I'm a mother. My son wants to talk and I'm talking on the phone. I'll walk away. I'm ignoring him, right? What happens when you ignore somebody enough times? They say, oh, I guess I'm not that important. I'm not an important person, right? So we grow up with all these beliefs and then they hold us back. And so my vision, just to explain my vision again, my vision is to help people get rid of those things. Because growing up, I grew up with all this fear, and the fear was handed down to me from other generations. It was handed down to me because of the stress that my parents were in at the time. And for all I knew, I was a complete introvert. I was an A+ student. Okay, it was important for me to study, get good grades, get a good job. Okay, there's no such thing as running a business. That's too scary, right? That's too dangerous. That's not safe, right? This is the thinking that I was raised with. You have to get a good job. You have to save a lot of money, right? And it's like classic Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you've read the book, it's like classic Poor Dad, right? That's how I was raised, and there was a lot of fear. And so here's the person that I turned out to be. Not really the person I turned out to be, but the person I thought I was. And how I acted is, first of all, I was scared of just about every person. I was scared of situations and I was scared of people. I would see a homeless person on the street, and not only, and I would be judgmental. Drug addict, I would be judgmental. I was extremely judgmental. My wife still finds me being judgmental in certain times, and she's like, hey, pay attention to what you're doing. And what's judgment? We pass judgment because of fear, because of misunderstanding. And there was a huge shift for me that happened in the Miami event during David Sharp's talk. During David Sharp's talk, I bawled like 3-4 times during the event. Once with David Wood, twice with David Sharp, and a few other times when just random people were talking because I was thinking of things. And I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But here's the thing. So my vision is to help people get rid of that. Because when I got rid of many of these, and I'm still getting rid of a lot of these beliefs and habits and things like that, it's like a whole new world opened up to me, a whole world of possibilities. Because all of a sudden, you know what? The whole idea of I'm not good enough disappeared. I'm not worthy, gone, right? And so I can say these things now, and they don't feel like anything. And I'll teach you a technique later where you can actually say that. If you say, oh, I'm not good enough, if you feel a little bit of something, you got the belief, whether you logically think so or not. And usually we think, no, there's no way we have that belief. But anyway, we'll get to that another time. Whatever I had going on, all the beliefs I had, I was scared. I was nervous. Every time I talked to people, I thought they were judging me. Every time I saw somebody who I didn't agree with, a smoker, I would judge them. A homeless person, I would judge them. A crazy person, I would judge them. A drug addict, I would judge them. An alcoholic, I would judge them. Now, I'm saying all these things because we're getting somewhere, okay? A person who was overweight, a fat person, I would judge them. And that's not a very nice feeling. When you judge people, it's not a nice feeling. And by removing all these and by using some techniques, I was able to feel more love for people. And I shared a story. I don't know if you've heard me share this before, but I went to church with my wife and I stepped outside to nurse my son. And he was done. And 2 homeless guys came in and set their stuff next to me. And in the past, before I did work on myself, before I got rid of this stuff, I would have literally freaked out. I would have picked up my son and gotten the hell out of there. Literally, I wouldn't have looked at them. I would have avoided them for fear of who knows what would happen, right? But I didn't, because I looked over and I saw a beautiful person and I smiled. And one of them started talking to me and I had a conversation with him. And I could smell alcohol on his breath. And in the past, I would have pretty much rolled my eyes, whether it was, subconscious or conscious or whatever. I would have rolled my eyes. I would have ignored everything he said. And I would have found a way to exit the conversation. But I had the most beautiful conversation with that man. And I just felt so much love for him. And that was a huge shift for me. I told my wife about it later. It was a huge shift for me. Where just a few weeks before that, some guy came to our car asking for change, and I freaked out on him. Totally freaked out on him. And closed the window and avoided him. And it was a shift like that. And for me, I don't know how many limiting beliefs you have, but you've got them. You've got them. And when you get rid of them, what a freeing feeling. And just a world of possibilities. Anyway, it's interesting because Dee Varengia on the Empower Hour call tonight said something about that. She said, when you experience a transformation, it's your duty to share it with others. And I found that interesting because I was holding back from sharing some things, and I thought, well, it's not really my technique. I didn't come up with this, but I experienced something profound from it, and I want to share that with you. But where are we at? Let me just summarize real quick because I've been all over the place, I feel. I grew up in fear. I created lots of limiting beliefs. I lived my life that way. I lived my life stuck. Even when I started my business, I lived my life thinking like I need to work for someone else still. And I created the position that I'm in now because of my previous thinking. And when I started releasing all this, it opened up a world of possibilities to me. But there's something greater than that. There's something greater than that. I'm going to peek at my notes, make sure there's not something that I skipped over just now. Yeah, and it's funny. I don't know if you've ever talked in your head, thought about, I'm going to say this and this and this, and it all comes together perfectly. And when you actually sit down to write it or say it, you're like, wait, I'm probably forgetting a piece. Let me tell you why I cried at the event, okay? Because this is... I think this is profound. I don't know if it'll do something for you, but if it does, it'll be good. The first time I cried, they were actually doing the $1 Million Ring ceremony. They were handing $1 million earners special rings, okay, to signify their achievement. And they made a change. They also gave rings to their spouses, in some cases wives, in some cases husbands. And I cried because I thought, I want to be on stage with my wife getting rings. I want her to get the ring. That's my thing. I want her to get the ring. I don't even care about mine. I just want her to get a ring. And it's interesting because I thought about that and it made me cry. I want to do that for her. But that's not where it ends. Because there's also a raffle. And I donated some money and it put me in this raffle. I got some tickets. And the raffle was for a limited edition leather jacket. Okay, just a simple raffle. I probably should have brought water here, but let me do my best without stepping away. So I looked at that leather jacket and I thought, I need to win that for Donna, for my wife. And it made me cry, and I thought, wow, if I win this and I give it to her, she's not gonna fight with me so much about getting to events. There's not going to be that tension in getting to events, right? It's like she's going to be all in a way, right? All in her mindset. And what's funny is I was thinking the same thing for the ring as well, right? And there was something else that I thought of for the ring, and it just escaped my mind again. If I remember it, I'll just jump out and say it. But I thought, for the ring, I thought, wow, I want to represent. Well, I just want to represent lesbians. I mean, to be honest with you, I just want to be like a woman and woman couple up on stage, a married woman couple. It's only like men and women up there, or business partners, men and men business partners. But I want to represent that because Empower Network is a community that accepts everyone, and I love that, and I want to represent. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, so I'm looking at this leather jacket, and I'm looking at the $1 million rings. And I'm thinking I want that for my wife so she could be all in. And of course, you got to earn the $1 million ring, and I didn't win the raffle. And so I thought, well, what am I really doing here, right? Why do I need this object to get my wife all in? And then I thought, how do I really get my wife all in? And then I realized something. I need to be all in with my belief. I need to be all in with my belief, because as long as I'm in it 100%, there's not going to be a doubt in her mind. And so that was the number one thing. And I cried, and I had the realization later. And here's the other time I cried. It's because I realized something, as Dave Sharp was talking. I don't know where this even came from. Dave Sharp is I don't know, he had this like crazy speech. I don't even know where he got that. I think, I've never seen a Tony Robbins seminar, but I think he's right along those lines. I know Tony Robbins makes people cry, and Dave Sharp sure as hell made a lot of people cry in there and have realizations and breakthroughs. And here was mine. Here's mine, and this is the reason that I have my vision. This is the real reason. Is that when I look at people, I realize something now. I realize something. I realized that every single person was somebody's little baby once. Every person was someone's little baby. And when you were born, even if it was for a split second, even if you were adopted, given away, even if your mother was a drug addict, whatever it was, or if you had the perfect mother, it could have, even if it was just for a split second, but usually for most of you, it's probably a lot longer than that. You were loved. Oh my gosh, you were loved unconditionally. And your mother wanted everything for you. Your mother wanted everything for you. She wanted you to be healthy. Right? That's what we always say. Oh, I just want my baby to be healthy. She wanted you to be healthy. She wanted you to be happy. She wanted you to be happy. She wanted you to be a happy person. She wanted you to have what you want. To be wealthy in that way. You were born with that. And whatever happened afterwards, all the things that caused you to think of limitations for yourself, those were all a result of your mother and your father just wanting everything for you. And that was their way of showing you their love, of showing you that they wanted you to have it better than them, the way that they knew how, with their limitations and their beliefs. But that's why I do what I do, because when you were born, nobody wanted limitations for you. Everybody wanted everything for you. My vision is for you to be able to go back to that, to the place where the love that you feel for yourself is like the love that your mother and your father, or your second mother, or your two fathers, whatever the case may be, the mother that gave birth to you the second you came out, you know, that feeling she had. My vision is that you feel that for yourself. And that's powerful. And that's a powerful version of you, that you just love yourself and you just want happiness, health, and wealth. That's it. That's my vision. And that's why I do what I do. And I don't know how this is coming out. I feel kind of, honestly, I feel a little bit embarrassed sharing it because it's the first time I'm sharing it. But I do wanna see your comments below. So please do let me know what you think about that. All right, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.